All right. Big man down there in the house. Glad everybody's having a good day. Thanks for the time out of y'all's day. Sunday, but spend with us. It's been a beautiful day. We appreciate, of course, our super special guest, Coach Heath, been able to stop by. He's going to hang in here with us for a few minutes, and of course, he's got to get out here. He's got things to do, and he had the Jamboree over there Thursday. Had a good time. It went a little long, but the kids got lots of exposure and got to hit somebody upset of their own players.
Yep.
And also, we're going to do some other scores around the county. Got to go to the Gilsville game Friday night.
Great game.
Was a good game. Coach Knapp and the boys did a good job.
Yeah.
And we got a few other little bit of news later, but first off, we need to thank our sponsors. We always want to thank them for everything they do to help us. Cherokee Eye Clinic, J.R. April McKenzie, Kevin Stargell. Kevin's Lawn and Landscaping. Got any kind of landscaping needs, Kevin can do anything. Of course, Lloyd's Legal Service up there in town on 111 West Main Street Center. And Warrior Jim's been with us forever since we ever started, so we appreciate them too. And so we thank our sponsors for everything that they do. And I guess we'll just kind of get right into it, Dean.
Yes, sir.
Sorry about the microphone. That's my fault. I didn't turn them on. That happens every once in a while. I'm not perfect. There was only one perfect man. He was a carpenter. He wasn't a radio host.
Should be. I think everybody can hear us now.
Okay. All right. We're rolling and rocking now. Mic's on. Test. Yes. All right. So, Coach Heath, introduce yourself, I guess. Who you are, where you're from, and what's going on with you today.
I'm Alan Heath. I'm the head football coach at Sand Rock, and this is going into my second. So I say we're in it now. Mm-hmm. Second season at Sand Rock, and we are real excited about the direction the program's headed. I think the improvements that we're making, and there's an excitement around our program right now. The kids are really excited about what we're doing, and one of the main things for us watching Thursday night is they enjoyed playing Thursday night. I mean, they enjoyed every aspect of that. We only played a half. We only got to play half. But of that half of football, they enjoyed it. And I know a lot of people will say, well, yeah, y'all scored, 4 touchdowns? And, well, yeah, but I think, it's kind of the chicken or the egg thing. I'm not necessarily sure that they enjoyed it just because, we scored more than the other team we were up against.
Right.
I think maybe that we scored more than the other team we were up against because we enjoyed playing football.
Right. Instead of the.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't not enjoy it and do well.
Because, it's a tough game. It's a tough game. And so it's...
everything went pretty smooth at the game. I thought you guys looked good. They were much improved. We watched last year, and some of the other teams, Spring Garden played, Cedar Bluff also played, and we got scores and stuff from that game and stuff. But now, your past kind of coaching, just a little bit, you can say where you had been, and then we'll talk about the Jamboree.
All right, I started my career coaching at Alexandria High School under Coach Ginn. Coached junior high ball there for 9 or 10 years. And then Coach Tucker came in. Coach Ginn, got sick, unfortunately, and he retired. And then Coach Tucker came in, coached under Coach Tucker for a while. And then my best friend growing up, or one of my best friends, I don't hurt anybody's feelings. Well, one of my best friends growing up, Will Wagner, who had been the offensive coordinator at Center for a while, and when they won the state championship, he got the head coaching job at Montford. And he stayed on me about, hey, Alan, I need some help. I said, hey, I got a good gig here at Alexandria, and some different things happened. And finally, I decided, hey, I'm moving on to Montford and coach with Will, and we were real successful down there at Montford. I was there with Will for 3 years, and I think we went 8-4, 12-2.
Got to go to the semifinals.
With the semis, and got beat by Aniana, who ended up winning the state championship, and it was a pretty close ball game. We played, and they'd been in the state championship game like 3 years in a row and hadn't won it, and they won it that year. And the next year we had what we thought was a rebuilding year, but we still made the third round, got put up by Leeds, and Leeds had won like 3 state championships in a row, and
did y'all beat Gunnersville the year y'all went to the semis?
We did, yes.
Okay.
And they were undefeated.
I came to that game. Had Jordan, whatever, the running back that was so good.
Yes.
And I can't remember his last name.
Yeah, they were a real good football team. I don't know. I think we played them in the second round. I think we played Ardmore, then Gunnersville. And, that was a tough road. We had to play J.O. Johnson, and the last year they had a school. And they were loaded. We had to go up to Milton Frank Stadium in Huntsville and played in the driving rain. And we had no business, I don't think, beating them, but we managed to make it to the semifinals. And it's memories like that. That's we used to pray, me and Will and Eric Firestone, who was our defensive coordinator. We'd pray before every game. We'd say, meant it sincerely, Lord, we just want one more week with this group of kids because we enjoy being with them so much. We don't want them to be done with us, And so he gave us 4 extra weeks,
That's good stuff.
We didn't quite make it to the to the championship game. Then from there, I went to Hazel Green High School. Was there for 3 years, and then after being at Hazel Green for 3 years, things didn't work out as well there. Ended up getting fired. I decided I was done with coaching, got into administration, came and got the job at Sandrock as the assistant principal. And then after 2 years doing that, Coach Chestnut resigned, and I started working on an interim basis because I had coaching experience for a long time, and I just fell in love with the kids, how hard they worked, and then we had the COVID thing hit and everything else. And
it's a special community up there at Sandrock. They're a big time football community up there.
Yeah.
Coach Jacob was, of course, part of that, building that up
200
there.
wins, over 200.
And he's still a part of that. Tell us about some of your other assistants and people that kind of help around there. And
we got a great coaching staff. I mean, top notch. And we got people who've been there for 20-something years coaching. Of course, Coach Jakeway, he calls himself a consultant. He comes around and
he's an analyst.
Oh, but he's great. Like, I love having Coach Jakeway around because he'll tell me exactly what he thinks, and I need that,
Right.
But not only that, but he's very supportive and, just a great guy and fun to be around. I love it. I just sit and talk with Coach Jakeway for hours anyway, But then we've got on the varsity staff, I've got R.J. Thornberry, my defensive coordinator, and RJ is a Sandrock guy, a great guy, and a good coach, great coach. I mean, he really, I think his focus is so much on what he's doing, and I think that he's a young guy. I think he's 30, and coming into, I think that our defense this year may be something to reckon with.
Right.
I think that we got, we've simplified some things and really. I think we have the right scheme right now, and I think Coach Thornberry's done a great job implementing that. And then with Coach Keith Bates, coaching offensive line, does a great job.
He's in there in the weight room.
He's done that for many years.
Many years under Coach Jakeway and then Coach Chestnut, he also helps me tremendously. He takes care of cutting the grass and doing the fertilization on our field. And our field's beautiful. He does a great job.
It rained that day. All compliments to him for the field. And I thought, well, I'll wear my boots over there. It's probably going to be soggy.
No.
The field was great.
Oh, yeah, it's perfect.
It was not wet at all. I could have went barefooted and not get your feet wet.
Yeah, it's not even tore up. We played 5 different teams played on Thursday night. Not tore up at all.
It rains well.
It was great. And he does a great job. Cody Short coaches running backs. And
baseball coach.
Yeah, he's our baseball coach now.
I like him.
Oh, he's a great guy.
Jeff's assistant, right?
Yes, and now he's the head guy, and he's from Gaston originally,
Yep.
but he was an offensive lineman in high school, so every now and then I get him to go with lineman some with Coach Bates, and then you got Nick Traffinstead, who this will be his second season with us, and Nick, he's the first coach I've hired as a head coach, Collinsville, right? Yeah, he's from Collinsville, and he does a tremendous job. He connects with the kids, unbelievably, and he's coaching receivers and quarterbacks and DBs, and Cody does linebackers, and Keith does defensive line as well, we've got, let's say I've mentioned Keith, Cody, RJ, Nick, got Josh Bates, our junior high coach, and that's Keith's brother. He's been around for a long time, does a great job. I don't know there's a better junior high football coach in the state of Alabama.
Yeah.
Not only that, but he's my ear on Friday nights. He's the guy who gets stuck having to listen to every crazy thing I say and do the microphone. But he does a great job of keeping me. He knows our offense inside out, and he's like, "Hey, coach, what about this and here?" And he's a tremendous asset. A lot of times he thinks of something I've not thought of. I'm like, "That's right, Josh. That's what we're going to do. Let's run this play."
Good. That's great.
Oh,
that's really important. Other people probably know.
Yes, people don't see them up there in the booth.
That's right.
And they ought to get a lot more recommendation, or not
recognition.
Recognition. That's the word I'm looking for.
Well, it could be a recommendation.
Well, Cherokee County, all them words count.
Yeah, exactly. It starts with an R. But anyway,
Regerts.
Rigidity.
Regerts.
Yeah. Also up there in the box with him is Jonathan Mcgill, who just came in this year. And he's been a tremendous asset to our staff already. He's got football knowledge and experience, and he's coaching lines on junior high along with Adam Smith, who's also one of our coaches, our ag teacher, and they do a tremendous job. And of course, Coach Jakeway is around helping out too. And it's we've got just a tremendous staff, tremendous group of guys, and they're all. The best part is that we're all on the same page. Good Christian guys who these kids can look up to and really. Kind of set the tone for everything, and these kids have good mentors all the way around.
Right.
Does JV to varsity playbook area, do y'all cover the same from little up?
Yes, we're on the same page. We're running the same plays. We're running
important.
the same route combinations, and I mean
Everything's pretty much the defense and everything.
yes, and that's also
That's how you build a culture, a
Yeah.
dynasty. That style of football that from Fife to Piedmont, how they Paul and Steve is.
Keith doesn't get that fired up during the game, does
Well,
Does he still?
Oh,
He
yeah.
used to. I loved it.
absolutely he does, and that I need. He's got positive energy. Unfortunately, a lot of times my energy tends to tend toward the more negative side of seeing the negative things. So having that positive energy out there, and so does Coach T, Nick, Traffinstead. They've got a real positive energy about them, and I tend to be, like I said, more on the get on people's. But I'm the bad cop a lot of
Keith
times.
is never what I would call just chew kids out,
Yeah.
but they love him and they play hard for him.
Absolutely
Yeah.
is.
But
And
now he prays. Does a lot of praising.
he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I said, a lot of times I'm the bad cop, and they'll be the good cop.
But they don't mess with him either.
No,
Right?
no.
Now we noticed, when I was out there, we talked a little bit about your players, and it seemed smoother out there Thursday. It just seemed ultimately kind of flawless a little bit. The plays.
Well, it wasn't flawless.
Well, the plays were going in smooth.
Yeah.
Ace throwed the ball well.
He did.
You guys were open. They would run Jacob in to take the snaps, and run the ball some, and they throw to him some, and defensively, your competition there that you're playing, they're a prominent program. I mean, they're a proud program up there, and
Yes.
I'm watching the line. They're handling their gaps well. I'm hearing coaches, holler at them and adjust, and everybody seems to kind of adjust pretty. It just seemed, maybe none of the kids are watching, but I mean, because I don't want to, you got to keep them, down here. You don't want to float up in there or get too high.
Well,
Because they don't get a ring for winning the Jamboree. You don't want to try.
Bingo.
We got to go back to work. We got to get ready to play Pisgah this week. So remember that, guys. It's a Jamboree. It's fun to hit somebody else other than your friends.
Yes.
And I think y'all did a great job, and y'all did a great job with them Thursday.
Well, thank you. And here's the thing, one of the things that we lacked, I think, was confidence. Now, I say that, I'm talking about last year. We didn't have a lot of confidence. When things were going well, then, we're going to go out there and play hard, and we're going to hit you in the mouth. But if the first time something negative happened, it was like, oh, well, back to this again. And so
They'll start getting on each other. The kids start
Exactly.
rapping on each other. Man, when you missed your block, you're an idiot. You didn't run the right route. And you can't have that.
And that's, changing, when we talk about a culture change, that's what we're trying to change,
Yep.
is get back to where we expect to be successful. I mean, and that's, in Sandrock, you ought to expect to be successful.
absolutely.
Because that's like you said, North Sand's got a proud program.
They
So
do.
does Sandrock.
Well, that's a
Right.
promise. Now, you played them a lot more, but when anybody you
I
played,
hated playing against him.
okay, I'm just telling you. And Saturday morning, there was always that time you knew you played Sandrock.
Mhm.
Nobody else brought the wood like they did back in the day.
We always
Nobody.
played on Thursday. Always.
So
Nobody.
then you have to go to school on Friday.
Thursday. The Sandrock game was always on.
Yeah.
And you just walk around stiff-legged all day with bruises all over you.
Mhm.
Well, that's what we want to
Yeah,
get back
you're
to.
right.
And when we talk about confidence, one of the main things that builds confidence is that weight room, because that is your foundation of athletics. I mean, especially nowadays where everybody's lifting, you've got to be strong in the weight room. And when you're lifting in the weight room and you start to look good and you look in that mirror, you start to build that confidence,
That's
and that
true.
carries over into everything else.
Because it is a different time now than it was in the 80s or 90s.
yeah.
It's
Yeah,
different
used
now.
to you could lift, do your 4 major lifts, 2 of them on 2 days a week, and that would be about all you had to do. But now everybody's lifting all the time. And I mean, we have a comprehensive program 5 days a week. We lift on game day. I mean, we lift all year round, and that's huge because these younger kids see these older kids and hey, dang, they look good. I want to look like that one
Yeah,
day.
somebody to look up to and to be a prominent part of the team, and that's important too. To have good leadership for the seniors, so that some of that can trickle down to you 7th and 8th grade.
Absolutely.
That they're also, so some of you players, just about some of you senior players, that's going to leave that trickle down to the young guys.
Well, somebody who played really well Thursday night was Heath Driver. He plays receiver for us, but also plays outside linebacker. And don't get me wrong, he did good at receiver, but outside linebacker, he was lights out. I mean, he was all over the place, but in the right place. You know what I mean? He was all over the field, but in the right place when he was needed to be. And I can't say enough about how Heath played. Olin Pruitt at receiver and corner. I mean, he's a lockdown corner. He's a great receiver. He runs good routes. He blocks well. I mean, Olin's not a big dude.
No.
But he's got the heart of a big dude.
And after the game, he's coming to coach say, "Hey, at practice, I want to work on this, and hey, can we work on that?" I mean,
really?
Yeah, that tells you that he's interested. He's just not, all right, the game's over and you go home.
No.
They're there after the game.
He did well last year, did he not? I'm texting one of our fans here.
Well, Olin got hurt in the West End game last year, but even before that, and I don't want to give stats because I don't have it in front of me, but I mean his numbers for we had 2 forfeit games. He only played in 4.5 games, and his numbers were, I mean, he had like, I can't remember if it was 600 something or 800 something yards receiving in 4 games.
Well,
and I mean, and so losing him hurt us big time. And he's a tremendous player.
And you actually led Cherokee County in passing.
Well, and Ace,
He had a good game, man.
Ace is only a junior. But you said I thought about Sam. I thought about Ace because you brought him up.
Yeah, he was dropping them out there. He was dropping bombs on him.
He was 8 for 10, and one of them was a drop, and the other one was pass interference.
Yes, that's
and
right.
I mean, with three touchdowns were passing, one was a running touchdown, it was a counter play.
He had a good day.
And and it was to different people. I mean, we were throwing every one of our skill position guys, I think, who plays a lot, touch the football, and that's something that's good because I mean, used to like last year a lot of times, and nothing against we had some good players last year, but people could say, well, we're going to double up on Olin. You know what I'm saying? Or you're going to have to, all right? I mean,
Okay, go
Can't
ahead.
do it as well this year.
and or at least I'm hoping not. We'll see. I mean, but and then like I said, offensive line wise, I've got a lot of seniors on the offensive line. Brian East, that's being my principal's son, but he has shaved. I'm not going to believe this, but I'll tell you, he plays right guard for me, and he's running a 4.5 40.
Wow.
Really?
And I mean, and he has gotten. I mean, he's squatting up in 400 pounds, and same with deadlift and power cleans like 245, and bench like 245. And I mean, he's one that this summer, if there was a day where he had something, there's some other stuff, conflicts and stuff, he'd get me to send him the workout so he could make sure that he did it and had it done. And
Take an extra step.
Yes,
want to
absolutely.
make the extra, ability to be better, a better team player.
And not just, I mean, I could say about every one of our players. When I go and look on Huddle, which is the program that shows all of our film and everything, I can look to see who's been watching film. Well, almost all of them are watching not just 5 minutes of film. I mean, I'm talking about 45 minutes, an hour of film, all the time. And when I put practice film up, they're watching it. When I put game film up, opponent scout, they're watching it. And that just shows that they're interested.
They're
in what
excited
we're doing.
about what's going on,
And they want to get better at it.
Well, I know Ashley's daddy, and if he's anything like him, he's not just going to show up to practice, and that's the only time he's going to work at his quarterback position.
When I took the job at the end of July in 2020, that's late.
Mm-hmm.
First thing Ace calls me. Of course, I had a good relationship with him. I've been doing the workouts and stuff. He says, Coach, do you have anything I can study before we start practice? So I sent him all of our. Basically, I got an offensive playbook that me and Coach Wagner wrote years ago. I mean, it's not pen. And I sent it to him, and by the time we started practice, I mean, we started doing stuff actually the next day, but when we started actual practice, there'd be times where I'd have to think, like, all right, what do I have backside on this play? And it's a hitch, and I'm like, dang, better than I do. I helped write it, better than I do.
He's well studied.
And so he works his tail off. And you look, of course, Cornell's Jacob. Jacob had a great game.
Yeah.
And I mean, he scored a touchdown through the air, 2 through the air actually. He caught 2 touchdown passes, but he also ran for 50 or 60 yards and a half. I mean, and then other running back Trace Haygood, I think he ran for 85 yards.
Man,
maybe.
he turned some on, man. He got around the end. They was not catching him.
And, and he's another one. Trace has shaved half a second off his 40 times since December.
He's fast.
Working his tail off, and he's another one. He squats, 425, 435, deadlift close to 500. I mean, these kids have worked really hard. And Trace weighs 165 pounds. I mean, and then Logan Crider played in tight end for us. I mean, he's a junior.
He's the tall kid.
He's a tall blonde kid. Yeah. Came up there when we were standing along the fence, with Ace. And I mean, and then defensively, I mean, like I mentioned, Heath already. True Graham playing safety. I mean, and he's
he was coming up making tackles there at the line. I mean,
pretty good, huh?
Yeah, they were paying attention. You could tell they were prepared for that game, like it was like it was a real game, which is
Right,
good.
right.
I mean, it's good practice to prepare for what you know. And,
Oh yeah. Well, and Bradley Jackson, his junior, plays center and plays defensive end.
Yeah, he was pushing people around.
Oh yeah, he can. He can.
He
make
made a
some
difference. I mean, the line was they look good up front. We told on the show Sunday, be careful. There's a dark horse. Me and Bo, remember sitting right here. Y'all we're not. We're just
I
saying.
don't want to jinx y'all.
Well, we're a real dark horse.
Ashley said that I said on the air, I don't remember doing this. Aaron says that he said y'all were going to be real good last year. I don't remember saying that. I think I said I thought y'all were going to be good last year. And you you came within 1 point of going 500.
Yeah.
But he told me last time I saw him not to ever do that again. But I said, I don't remember doing it.
Actually, Ace told me about that the other day. Ace
You
was talking
serious?
about that. Ace was talking to me about that.
I don't remember.
I think I just might have mentioned him the same night, but I just said I knew Ace's dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for wishing to say, we wish y'all luck on the season, and I think y'all are gonna have a good. I think you're gonna have a good season.
Yeah.
Well, I'm interested to see. I think I understand. I think North Sand had some of their kids not playing Thursday.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether it's injury, sickness, whatever it was. But I think they had some of their starters not playing. But at the same time, they were. I mean, they were a third-round team last year.
Yep.
Yep.
So I don't want to take away, but I do want to say, that I'm interested to see how we do against Pisgah. Pisgah's improved. I mean, I went and watched them Friday night in person, and I was watching their film all weekend. Mm-hmm. They're an improved football team, and I told a bunch of our guys been calling me and texting me, "What about Pisgah?" So you know what I said? They're improved, and just because we beat them last year, and we weren't the best football team in the state, that don't mean that they can't beat us this year.
Yeah, no, you can't overlook anybody.
And not even close to overlooking. I'm saying we got to take them as seriously as we do,
anybody,
any other team,
it's
because
just another game. You got to play fastest opponents. And
just
all
like
that.
we're not the same team we were last year. They're not the same team they were last year.
Now they're prominently. They run the ball prominently.
Yes, they run the ball a lot, and they're big. I mean, they got some
much.
big old kids, and Coach Pruitt does a good job with them, and you can tell they've been working in the weight room. They're big and strong, and I mean, we're gonna have to get after it. And
Who is their coach?
Luke Pruitt.
Is this Jeremy's brother?
Yes.
Really?
About that. There you go.
And he does a good job with them, and he, I saw him at the Jamboree on Thursday and talked to him for a little while. And I mean, he was telling me, he said, "Hey, Coach, I think we got a better team than we had last year," and I think they do after watching them.
Y'all have to go there.
Yes, we'll be playing that. We only have 3 home games this year.
They're rolling for 3 weeks. They ain't gonna be home till later in September.
Yeah, week 4 is our first home game versus Southeastern.
So you're at 7 on the road?
Yep.
How'd that happen?
Well, originally, we were split. Originally, it was split 6 and 4 because to make sure we got to play Collinsville, the way that it worked out was we were going to have 6 home games last year and 4 home games this year.
Right.
Well, then we had to forfeit Collinsville, which was a home game, and then Locust Fork, which was an away game. Well, the HSAA came out and said, if you forfeited an away game, it becomes an away game this year.
Yeah.
So we lost Locust Fork at home this year, so that puts us down to 3. Having the Jamboree was a lifesaver money-wise.
Right.
Because otherwise, I don't know we'd be able to pay for the buses.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it ended up being a great thing that we got.
We had a good crowd up there. It was beautiful. It was hot. Boy, it was hot over there about 5 when the game was supposed to start, which was no fault of Coach Heath. So don't see no emails at Sandrock. It wasn't his fault.
Well, we had mix up, and I mean, I got a good relationship with our officials. We use Gadsden Fish, have a good relationship with them. There was just a mix up on the time for it to start, and I thought that I had made sure we wouldn't have that mix up, but I obviously didn't do a good job of it. So,
no, you did. It's hot. You did a good job.
So we, it's
it's water on the bridge. We had a good day. It was pretty over there. The field was nice after it rained a lot that day. And I'll roll into just a few questions before we let you go. The guy's hungry. He's been at school working football, being a head coach. He wants to go see his wife. Okay, let's let the guy. He wants to see.
I don't have a wife. So.
Okay.
He wants to go home and eat. Okay. We'll say, do you like practice or games better?
Practice, definitely.
Practice.
I'm a control freak.
Most coaches are. I've asked that question.
I mean, I'm not a head coach, but
I can't do anything. Like if we screw up in a game, I can't stop it and fix it.
Yeah.
But at practice, I can. And practice, like if they tick me off, practice can go as long as it needs to.
Most coaches like the working of practice, the getting ready. Because once the game day starts, you're done. I mean, you can't do anything else.
Hay's in the barn.
That's what Paul said. And sometimes the hay's green, you can't get it. Sometimes it gets wet.
Sometimes it burns your barn.
I do think that's where you win.
Yes. Well, weight room and practice is definitely where you win.
What about Tell us about maybe one of the games at Sandrock that stands out to you the most, like a real memorable moment that you had a time where you go, you know what, these kids are connecting with me. I can see that I'm making progress.
Well, last year our first game of the season we played Pisgah, and I'm not knowing what to think. Of course, we were fluctuated between 6A and 7A Hazel Green, and then I'm at 2A Sandrock as the head coach, and I'm not really knowing what to expect and how things are. I mean, and so to get that first win, which is my first win as a head coach, I mean that's huge. And so that was the first real game I coached at Sandrock, and so that was huge. I mean, then the next week we went and played a very good Westbrook team that this was last season. That we went right down to the wire. In fact, I cost us that game. I made a boneheaded call on 3rd and 2 from the 5-yard line. Should have got the first down, just run the ball. Instead, I tried to throw. I thought, hey, they don't have a center safety. We're going to throw a dang post route. Well, we get to take a sack. You have to have them throw the ball, get on 4th down, don't score there, and that was the difference in the game. They beat 21-14. But then the next week we played Gaston, and we were able to beat Gaston. And then we ended up going to Southeastern, getting beat, and then we had a home game.
Y'all didn't win at Southeastern?
No, we got beat by Southeastern last year. We had more yards offense than they did, but
it was close, wasn't it?
It was a pretty close game, and we didn't play up to the standard we needed to, and it showed. And so then we came back after our COVID forfeits and played West End and beat them. And then I'll say this, even playing Thursday night in that Jamboree, I was irate because the officials weren't there and all this other stuff. But you know what our kids did? Our kids went out and despite. I tell them circumstances don't determine outcome. Attitude and performance do. Yeah. And I tell them that circumstance even includes the fact that your head coach can be an idiot sometimes. So you don't need to.
I come over there and then he come down and saw it, guys. His hair was kinked up. I mean, it done got curly, and I was like, man, it's all right. It's not your fault.
He was pretty mad, huh?
He was hot.
I was not thrilled with that situation.
What drives you then? Talking about how you're a fiery coach. What drives you to get up in the morning and go, all right, well, we're gonna go today. We're gonna practice, and what?
And I guess I didn't realize this for the 2 years I didn't coach, but I'll say this, the only thing I love more than I love my players is Jesus.
Yeah, sure.
And I mean, and I do. I love those kids. And I didn't realize how much I missed, the relationship. Because when you're assistant principal.
Now, you were youth minister.
Years ago.
He was youth minister.
I was a youth pastor in college in my home church in Hopes Bluff. And then I ended up, even while I was coaching, I don't know how I did it, but I was teaching and coaching, and then I was a youth pastor.
So it's brought you joy coming back around the kids. I think we talked about in the gym the day I come out there and met with him, and it really – it brightens your heart to work them hard, but also to be able to share a little bit of Jesus with them. Because some don't hear any through the week. I know from doing youth over at Cedar Bluff for years, and you think you just give them a little bit of a pie, or you go too long sometimes, or sometimes you're not long enough. But, even if you spend 10 minutes with them, that may be the only 10 minutes they hear all week, because you just don't know everybody's situation.
Well, I got in the situation. I do a little devotional time with them every day, and one day I was so mad that we went on, and when one of the kids came up to me, I felt so horrible. Said, "Coach, I need my Jesus time."
That's what I'm talking about.
And I was like, "Golly, you just I went to be this tall, I was like, I skipped that, God, what an idiot." But I mean, that's really what it is. I love our players. And here's the thing: that means I'm going to be tough on them because I made a little joke about. We were getting a little bit sluggish Friday at practice, and I made a little joke about how, we'll just call off practice and go get our Jamboree state championship rings. And
That's okay.
So some of the players said that kind of made them mad, and I said, well, I love you enough to not care if you're mad at me sometimes,
Yeah.
And I said, did you get the point across? I said, yes, sir, got the point across.
It's good, and it's a good win, and you go out there and get to hit some other people, but, it's just it's a prep.
It is. That's what it was. And it was a scrimmage. It was a scrimmage against a team. Like I said, I think North Sand had 4 of their starters not playing.
I used to count those if I was a coach. Like 1-0, 1-0. Not if we lost.
Yeah. Well, I told them on Friday morning when we came in, and then Friday afternoon we watched film and everything. I said, look, guys, we're still 0-0.
Yep, right.
I said, we hadn't played a game yet. That was a good way to start things off. I mean, we did execute fairly well, and I said for the first time since I took the head coaching job here, when I watched film, I didn't want to go jump off the roof of the building. Yeah. I mean, but we still had plenty of mistakes. We did. There were plenty of mistakes that we got to fix, and I mean, some silly Jamboree mistakes, but then also some things that, hey, even I got to look at, how we blocked this or how because this didn't work or this did work. I don't think you call this here.
It's good film.
So it is good film to help us get better.
Before we let you go, he's going to dig out here in a minute. Who influenced you as a coach? I mean, who's kind of your guy you think back? And when you feel yourself coaching, maybe on the sideline, in those moments, you may go, "Oh, that's just like old Coach so-and-so, man."
Well, it's funny because golly, I hope Will doesn't watch this. Will, one of my best friends. I always said that. Not that I've ever been real calm and collected, but that I was going to try not to be as fiery because Will's a real fiery guy.
I get crazy.
And then I find myself saying and doing things I sound just like Will right now. But I mean, Will definitely. But then, I mean, here recently, Coach Jakeaway. Being around Coach Jakeaway, you can't help but take stuff from him. And then even going back, everybody I've coached for with Coach Tucker at Alexandria, Coach Ginn at Alexandria, Coach Rob, who I played for at Hopes Bluff.
Those are all good coaches.
These are all great guys.
Talking about Hall of Fame coaches. All these guys he just mentioned are going to be
I'll say one more, and this is a guy who passed away a few years ago. And when I was coaching junior high ball at Alexandria, a guy named Jimmy Hethcock had been there since I think he'd been there since 1968 or something. I mean, been there forever. And I learned so much from him because he knew what was going to happen before. Having been doing it so long.
Right, yeah.
And I would say, well, Coach, that doesn't make sense. He said, trust me, this is what's going to happen. Sure enough, it would. But not only that, I was coaching with him when my dad died when I was in my mid-20s. And so he kind of stepped in almost as a father figure.
Yeah.
Which people, when you're in your mid-20s, you think you're grown. You're not.
Oh, yeah, I know.
And there'd be times that, my dad taught at Alexandria for nearly 30 years. And so there'd be things happening at school or with football or something. I need to tell Dad about it. And I'd be like, oh, wait, he's dead. I can't tell him about it,
Yeah.
And so, I mean, that was something that having, that relationship with Coach
some of that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And a tremendous coach also. I mean, just a tremendous coach.
Is he kin to Jeremy?
Yeah, he had I can't remember.
Nephew.
Yes, his nephew is Jeremy. Jeremy has.
Jeremy, I worked with Jeremy. He was a good player, wasn't he?
Oh yeah, he was. I think he's about my age, isn't he?
Jeremy, how old are you?
41.
I think he graduated. He played with Matt Campbell.
Yeah, he'd be my age.
He was a nose guard, wasn't he?
I think so. And we played at Hopes Bluff. We played against Matt Campbell. Of course, we were in the same area then. They beat us. That's the only game we lost our senior year was to Alexandria. It was, I think, the 8th game of the season. They beat us, and that made us have to travel to Dashwood in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah.
Meant we got beat.
But that one.
Yeah, we got beat in the first round. But I mean, all those people, and not only that, but other assistants and stuff. I mean, like Coach Firestone, who's the DC at Gardendale now, who was one of my best friends growing up. I mean, the things I've learned from him. It's interesting to watch. Justin Bowen, who's the DC at Southside now. I coached him at Alexandria for years, and then he went with us and coached at Montford and Hazel Green. And I learned stuff from Bowen, even though he's a kid I coached,
Right.
And you can always learn stuff from him. And then the coaches I coach with at Sand Rock right now, all my assistants, I learn stuff from them every day because, they know how things have been done there. I'll never forget the first time I was lining the field off. I ran string where all the numbers go, and I went and made a mark where I was going to put the numbers. Well, they're like, what are you doing? They thought I was going to just run a line. I said, well, no, I want to mark, make sure the numbers are all lined up even. And they said, well, this is how we do it. I said, oh, well, that makes sense. There's different ways that you can do things that even doesn't make one right or wrong. Because, I mean,
it's a little more complicated than people probably think, too, isn't it?
Oh, it is. Golly, yeah, making sure you got everything lined up right.
I went with a couple of guys 2 weeks ago when they were lining off, and I'm just sitting over here like, what are you talking about?
I watched Jonathan do it at Cedar Bluff a lot, and Marcus and them, the seniors, would help some go get the paint, and I'd hang around there and watch them do it.
Which they didn't ask me to do much because I think they could tell I was a deer in the headlights. But I mean, I just don't.
I got a couple of kids who can help me.
Right.
Well, that's good.
A lot of mathematics goes into it.
Yeah, if you ever lose the lines and you got to start from scratch, you're looking at an all-day fiasco to make sure you get all the angles right and it's true 90 degrees and everything.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why I make sure we don't lose the lines. I mean, I'm going to at least dot everything where I know.
Is anybody on there ask any questions for him?
No, Mike Short, coach at Heflin.
Oh yeah.
Said it's a good interview. No, we don't have any questions.
Okay.
Well, we had some games against Heflin when I was at Montford that were down to the wire. I mean, that's back when Heflin was just rolling. We just kind of got things going at Montford.
I'm assuming that's the same guy.
Well, yeah, I would assume. Was it got 2 T's on it?
2 T's.
Yeah, that'd be Coach Short then, I'm sure. Yeah, Coach Short is a tremendous coach. Did an excellent job at Heflin.
So he was the coach when who was their coach before him?
That'd been going back in
McGuirk?
I think that sounds right.
There was a McGuirk. I thought it was pronounced Majoric.
Yeah, spelled funny, isn't it?
Somebody said no.
McGuirk. We had some McGuirks at Alexandria, so I know how to say it. But yeah, it was spelled funny.
Well, Coach, if you need to go,
Well,
you can stay all night. We'll hang out and talk. But if you need to cut loose,
I appreciate it. Well, look, hey, I appreciate y'all having me.
Yeah.
I don't want to take up any more of y'all's time. I can't,
you can take
I
our
can't
time.
thank y'all enough for
Yeah.
all y'all do. And like I said,
Yeah, we thank you.
y'all are welcome at Sandrock anytime. Okay, guys?
Yes, sir. We'll be
Thank
out.
you.